Hi guys.
Hello there.
So after almost a year of living in Turkey, we put together a list of things for you that you should know before considering moving to Turkey or traveling there as a tourist. As a tourist, you can use English. Basically, in some tourist places, they speak also German and maybe sometimes Spanish. But if you want to stay longer in Turkey, you definitely need to learn some basic survival Turkish. For example, we had different experience in hospitals. They often speak English, but if you have like a flu or just something simple, it could be enough. For something extra, you probably need a translator or you'll need to speak Turkish.
Without this language, it would be fairly hard to move around, especially in rural areas. And also, if you go to the very east of Turkey, they also speak Kurdish or Arabic, so knowing some Arabic would help in the east.
What we did is we use Google Translate.
It works fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you use English to Turkish, that works great. From our experience, Turkey is a very safe place to travel to.
I think it's the safest country we've been to.
Yes, so far from all of our countries, Turkey was the safest place. And safe, it's not like walking down the street. It is actually safe to drive a car. It is safe to go rural places, smaller places.
Yeah.
It's safe to go bigger cities.
In most coffee shops, we saw a pretty cool picture when people sit at the table and they have all their laptops, wallets, mobile phones, like everything basically. For example, want to go out to smoke or I don't know, maybe to find like toilet. So they leave everything like on the table and just leave, and then they return like 10 minutes later and all their stuff, it will be at the same place where they left. Yeah.
Yes, what's bizarre about it, people are not even worried that somebody could take their stuff. But same time, if you're traveling like a lady traveling alone in Turkey, you may get some attention from local guys.
Yeah.
But not in a bad sense. They just want to talk at times.
Yeah.
But if you have a friend, like a male friend, any kind, that would be much easier and safer, because they have this culture which coming from Arab countries where they speak to a man to do all the business.
Man is is like a head of the family, and they all want to speak to your boyfriend, husband, or just friend first. Yeah, that's what we notice, especially if you go to the eastern parts of Turkey. This is how it works, really. Turkey is a hospitable country, really. Most of people are helpful. They try to communicate as much as they can. They try to help you. They try to invite you to have a cup of tea. Even if you are in a hurry, even you have no time for them, it's cultural. Yes, they will invite you anyway.
If you need to do your business very fast, it may not happen that fast, because you're gonna get invited for tea, you're gonna talk, share your stories, your story, what you're doing, what you're going next, and it takes a while. And then you talk business, and you're losing the whole day doing that.
Yes, it's just culture, so you have to take it or
leave it.
Yeah. That's how it works.
It was fairly big problem for us, as we both don't smoke at all.
Yeah, and we are not really like that smell of cigarettes.
Yes. Yeah. They smoke a lot.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, every single place. They can even smoke inside of the cafes, restaurants, hotels, rooms, inside of cars. So before if you're like us and you don't tolerate the smell of smoke before checking in to a hotel, please check the room first.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had to do it a lot in order to have clean, non-smoking room.
Yeah, they even have ashtrays often inside rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually a good idea to first go to the room and just smell, because sometimes it's unbearable. I'm sorry, Turkish people, but if you are coming from a place where smoking is not a big deal, and you have like all your friends and family don't smoke, it can be a problem.
But at the same time, people are understandable and they try to do their best to accommodate you. Coming back to topic of hospitality, they trying to help. At least they're trying to help. But
you can ask to change the room.
Yeah, but of course it's on you to make sure that everything is the way you want.
The first thing you basically do when you arrive to Turkey is you buy a SIM card.
At the airport or in the city, and the difference between prices is not
really significant. Almost the same, yeah.
So you basically can buy at any place, the price is going to be high everywhere. Tourist SIM cards cost a lot and you cannot buy anything different. Also, you would need to have a passport to have it registered in your name.
They have 3 carriers, I guess. It's Vodafone, Turkcell and Turk Telecom.
Yes.
And I'd say Vodafone is the worst.
Yeah, please don't take that, even though they come aggressively with commercials and everything. But Vodafone is the worst carrier ever, I think.
Yeah, because normally when you arrive to Turkey, all those tourist SIM cards, they work for 3 months.
3 months, and they're gonna be blocked unless you get a residency permit.
Yes. So Vodafone works officially. It works for 2 months, but what happened to me and to our friend is that they blocked it after like 4 or 5 weeks. And when, for example, I went to the office and asked what should I do with it, they said just buy a new SIM card. That's
and those SIM cards are not cheap.
Yes, those SIM cards are like $20-30 per one, I guess.
Yeah, also you would need to buy a tariff on top of the price of the SIM card.
They say packet, data, calls and messages, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah, also you need to remember, if you are planning on staying for a little bit longer in Turkey, your phone is going to be blocked. You can enjoy using your phone for 4 months.
Turkey has huge import taxes for everything. So basically the story behind this is that if you have your phone which is bought outside of Turkey and you come to Turkey, so it is considered imported and you have to pay something for that. Otherwise they block it. So they have an import tax. And in 2023 it was 6,000 something lira, so which is almost $300, I guess.
Yeah, which is a lot. And you need to remember, you pay this fee every
3 years, I guess.
3 years or so. Yeah. So you cannot just buy a phone outside of Turkey and use it and pay tax and like enjoy it. No.
The other option is to buy a phone inside of Turkey. That's what we did basically, because we had old phones and we already didn't like them, so we bought our phones in Turkey. In this case, yes, there is no blockage, anything.
Well, at the same time, you have to remember that everything in Turkey is twice as expensive on top of MSRP. Like wherever the price is in your country is going to be twice as much in Turkey.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, we call it like Turkish random. So some phones are blocked, most of them, but some people actually, they are lucky and their phones are not blocked. But starting from the new year, like next year, it's blocked anyway.
But they have services which change identity numbers on your phone and you can keep using it, but you should repeat the operation like every 4 months.
All mobile phones, they have that IMEI code, and somehow when you just use your SIM card, the phone, it gets registered in mobile networks, and that's how they see that you are just connected, like that you're online. So they block that IMEI. Yeah, if you have two SIM cards, that it might help, because first you can use one slot, then after 4 months you can use another slot, so it might extend it a little bit.
And also, if you're staying in Turkey for more than 3 months, you won't be able to buy a new SIM card after that period, unless you have a residency permit.
Yeah, all SIM cards, they are basically became like a piece of plastic after 3 months, and I think they work only for incoming messages, not even calls or data.
Yeah, but what I mean, like, you can try to go to another carrier, but they won't sell your SIM card.
The thing is, when you get your residency permit, it may take some time. You have to go to the carrier office and register your SIM card, so they put the ID, like your residency ID, in their database, and this unblock your SIM card, so it starts work normally. This is weird.
Food may be different in different regions of Turkey. In the east, it's more traditional and more Arabic-like. In those places, they love cooking kebabs. Everything is cooked on top of a fire. Everything.
So it's like a barbecue.
Barbecue. Everything is barbecue in the east, and they also give you lots of bread with it.
And veggies, which are also cooked as barbecue, and they are often burned, I'd say.
Yeah, it is hard to find any soups in there, because I love Turkish soups, because my stomach gave up on the third day in the east. Luckily, they have a very good ayran, which they sell all over Turkey, and that helps, and it is the best ayran I actually tried.
Yeah, in general, dairy products like yogurt, ayran, which is sort of a yogurt, I guess, but more liquidy, runny. Yes, their dairy products are pretty good, I'd say. Yes, but ayran is just a top notch for us.
Yes. The more west you go, the more variety you get in terms of different foods and restaurants, especially if you're coming from Europe or from the north. Western Turkey is gonna be sort of familiar to you, because in big places like Istanbul, they would have proper restaurants from all over the world. But when you actually go and visit eastern parts, you lose the variety of such foods.
For me, what is important, I like fish, I like seafood, and those western parts, especially the Mediterranean coast and the Aegean coast, they offer a lot of different varieties of fish. Yes, if you just buy, and if you have an opportunity to cook it yourself, it would be just so cheap.
That's where we're coming up to the topic of farmers markets. We made a whole video on farmers market in Antalya. You can check it out. We placed somewhere here. Just go and see what they sell on the market. Prices there are very affordable. You're not gonna believe how cheap everything is.
They have veggies, they have fruits, everything is nice and fresh, everything is local, and
a lot of fish, and it is very affordable. And next up in price would be supermarkets. They are a little bit more expensive, but the bigger supermarket you go, I guess
the more options you have, prices are a little less. There are 3 main chains of supermarkets. It's like Migros. They have Migros Jet, 2M Migros, 3M Migros, 5M Migros. So it means the size of the supermarket. They are also have Beam supermarkets and
also Shock.
Shock.
But Beam and Shock, they're on the smaller side.
All of them have almost the same products and brand. For me, it was important that Migros, it had a little more options for people who have intolerances. Yes, because I'm gluten intolerant, and I was buying bread, for example, mostly in Migros, and it's really cheap. Yes, it's not as good as, for example, brands from Europe. This is gluten-free bread. Yeah, you see they have two of these. So they are really cheap. They cost like 20 something lira, but they're so dry. Like all of gluten-free breads, unfortunately, dry.
They specifically list all the allergens, but you need to read them. I know they're all in Turkish.
Yeah, you'll probably need Google Translate, yes, because all contents are in Turkish normally, unless it's an imported product. But still, yes, they put all allergens on the packaging, so it's no problem. Yeah, and also they have a lot of lactose-free milk available in every supermarket, and it's like $1 per 1 liter. And also, I should mention that when you come to a restaurant, you should always tell them that you're allergic to some things, because what we noticed is not many people know what gluten is. Like in Istanbul, it wasn't a problem. You just tell them you're allergic, and they say, okay, you shouldn't get this, this, and this. It was like, okay. But for example, in Antalya or in those cities like Marmaris, Izmir, some people know what this is. Some of them not really. I had to explain, but even though I told them I'm allergic to bread, so they put it not on my plate, they put it separately and just gave it to me.
Yes, they'll still give you bread even though you tell them you're not gonna eat it.
Sometimes they use flour for sauces to make them thicker. I had to ask multiple times to be sure that there is no gluten in it.
And also, if you like dairy a lot, you might have problems finding what you need. For example, we would also buy cream for coffee.
Yeah.
And in Turkey, you cannot find the right one.
We found a couple of places where they had those 1 liter packages of 10% cream, 10% fat cream. But when you try just to pour it to your coffee, it has consistency like whipping cream, basically.
Yeah. They use it for baking. But,
yeah, for sauces, for cooking, for baking, but still they add cornstarch, a lot of cornstarch to cream. So we were a little bit upset not having coffee cream. Yeah.
And also it's half a problem not having cream for coffee, but coffee itself in Turkey might surprise you.
Oh yeah.
They have this famous, world famous Turkish coffee, which they sell as a pinnacle of coffee or something.
It's good, but it's not what you want to drink every day. So what we noticed is in most places, like 99% I guess of them, we tried local chains, local manufacturers. They all use dark roasted coffee. Seriously, it's close to over roasted. It's so bitter, just wow. And even Starbucks, if you don't ask them specifically for soft coffee, it would bring you like burnt. Coffee would taste burnt.
An interesting part, if you ask them for softer coffee, they will charge you extra.
10% of the price on top.
Most people are coming to Turkey to have some rest and fun. That's where you might want to buy some alcohol. Yeah. And even though Turkey is a Muslim country, you can buy alcohol no problem in every place. But there is always but in Turkey. The alcohol there is not the best. We're trying wines, beer and everything. The quality is good, but the taste is no. And what's bad about it, it's not even, it's like the taste of it is half bad. But when you drink it, you actually can feel all the alcohol which they put inside. So it's like you like drink like grape juice without sugar, but with vodka mixed in.
Yeah, for some reason it's strong. It has taste of alcohol,
yes,
and aftertaste of some fruits. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, in every store you could buy a gluten-free beer.
Guys, I want to show you one thing. If you are in Turkey and you are gluten intolerant, they have FS gluten-sees, which is gluten-free. And they sell it in pretty much every supermarket here. It's made out of buckwheat. And surprisingly, it tastes pretty good, but it's light beer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a funny thing.
Yeah.
They sell buckwheat in every store, but we had so many surprised looks from local people asking what is buckwheat and how do you cook it. Yeah, but one of those things you have to consider. So if you want some good wines in Turkey, you better
bring it with you.
Alright, if you're traveling in big cities like Istanbul or Ankara, you're actually pretty much safe to go to any hospital and it's not gonna cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
People generally speak English, so whatever problem you have, you can solve it the same day, meaning that you don't have to make an appointment and wait for it for a week. You can go to a hospital pretty much anytime you have an emergency. And also, if you cannot go to a hospital yourself and you need help, very extreme situation, it is safe to call an ambulance here and it's not gonna cost you thousands of dollars. If you need to buy antibiotics or contact lenses, they require a prescription from a local doctor. Prescription from your doctor won't work here, and not all meds are actually available. And also there is such a thing as business hours for pharmacies. You can go to a pharmacy starting from 9 in the morning until maybe 6 in the evening.
Sometimes 7 p.m.
Yes, and not all pharmacies work on Sundays.
There are maybe 3 or 4 pharmacies in the whole city that work on Sundays or work at night.
And also you need to know how affordable it is here.
Oh, yeah.
Dental care is super cheap. Also, if you need a surgery, it's not as expensive as in many different countries. And Istanbul is actually, or like some other cities in Turkey, are famous for hair transplant. They like take your hair from back here and put them
to anywhere you need.
Yeah, anywhere you need.
Also, I've heard they have plastic surgery. They do some things in Istanbul, but dental services
are very good.
Yes, quality is pretty good as well, and we saw a lot of people from Europe and the US in Istanbul who are coming to have implants. They have a schedule, but don't expect that those buses follow that schedule.
They give you a car, but they do not want you to actually drive it anywhere.
Well, they returned us the money, but still we just lost almost a day of our plans.
Everything you talk about with them, you need to put into a contract.
Yes, so if you plan to open a bank account in Turkey, it might be also an adventure.